Let's start with a question. If you were able to shape life in any way you wanted, how would you shape it? If life is in fact a dream, is this the dream you wish to live? Before we get too metaphysical, let me say this. We all have dreams, and some do indeed actualize their dreams, as we have seen in the last video. However, our dreams are not solely dependent on ourselves. They also depend on others, who dream just as we do. Our dreams are also dependent on the world outside us. It's all connected. So what happens when we ask that same question on a collective scale? We'll do just that in a bit. In the last video, we've seen how the world of dreams, the inner world, and the world outside are connected. Even more so, are one and the same. This video aims to show how humanity has changed the metaphorical landscape of life through what we believe and dream collectively, revealing that there is no universal law for things to be as they are, and that all we're doing is fidgeting with figments of our imagination. Welcome to Spirosophy, where spirituality and philosophy meet. In ancient Egypt, the Fayum Valley was once a crocodile-infested swamp where none dared to go. Cooperating in the name of the pharaoh, many workers gathered to transform this swamp into an artificial lake. A new city, Shebet, was born on its shores. In this city, there was but one main power, that of the crocodile god Temple. And in this temple lived a sacred crocodile, Petsuchos, who was thought to be an incarnation of the great crocodile god himself. Petsuchos, lucky as he was provided with food, toys, and dressed up in golden cloaks and gem-encrusted crowns. Many came to admire Petsuchos, and though he existed in reality, it was the idea of him and the pharaoh making possible not only the construction of artificial lakes and cities, but maybe even the pyramids. In this way, imaginary stories continue to shape our reality. Nations, money, corporations, and the image of certain figures are some examples of these imaginations. First off, a nation has borders, a flag, a language, and a government, among other things, which give it an identity. But when you take away people, what remains? It is just our belief in the system of nationality which shapes what we call a nation. But in the end, it's imaginary. The same goes for money. In reality, all we own are pieces of paper and some ones and zeros embedded in a computerized system. Even the concept of ownership is held together by a common belief, one that was almost conquered when communism started gaining popularity. When we speak of corporations, we intuitively feel that we know what we're talking about. But do we really? We know a logo, we know about certain activities the business practices, we might know some people working there, but what we know best over all these things is the idea of the business, and what this idea represents to us. As for the image of figures, we have a leader in North Korea who is revered as a god.
What am I to do when 24 million people look to me as their leader, their god?
We used to follow a crocodile god, and Elvis Presley is dead, even though what used to be his house is now worshipped like a holy shrine. There is no reality to these concepts other than the reality we assign to them in our minds. And the reality we create in our minds translates into the reality we experience through our senses. Collective ideas play such a big role when we try to determine what is real and what isn't, how things should be or should not be. And far too often, we fall under the guise of believing that the way things are is the way things should be, just because they've become normal, even though nothing is normal, and the history of society has never stopped changing. We no longer believe in the gods we used to believe in. We no longer follow the rule of tyrannical kings. We have taken on new beliefs and will likely continue to do so. However, when we don't at least question how things are set up, we might end up living a life we don't want to live, following ideals we don't feel represented by. The paradigm of commonly held belief has been shifting throughout the ages. Take, for example, the upheaval that emerged in Italy when Galileo Galilei proposed that it was in fact not the sun, but the earth spinning around the sun. The French Revolution, where absolute monarchy was overthrown in order to found the First French Republic, is another example of how conventional thinking was overthrown to create a belief in something new. Thomas Kuhn set up a system for this. described in his book, The Structure of Scientific Revolutions. Here, he shows us how the paradigm of conventional wisdom changes when certain anomalies or errors that contradict this wisdom pop up. If these errors are measurable and sufficient enough, the old theory changes in order to create a new paradigm altogether. Now, this video is not about calling people to action in order to change the current system. This video is about demonstrating what power we have as a whole in changing the objective and subjective landscape when we all accept an idea. It is about demonstrating how common beliefs have always been and still are just imaginations vulnerable to change. The question you should be asking yourself is not, how do I fit into this world? But, if there is no universal law for things to be as they are, can we imagine a better world? Can we imagine something we all want to believe, while knowing that this belief in itself holds no truth other than the truth we assign to it in our minds? If this interdependent reality, objectively and subjectively, outside and within, is indeed connected, then are we as of now living the worldly dream? What is a collective, heavenly life if it is not this? I believe the question is just as important as the answer. Once again, thanks for watching. And if you found the content of this video interesting or entertaining, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Any feedback is more than welcome. And on that note, have a great day.